ॐ शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्जसम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्रजं। வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா. லோகவீரியம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யகம். சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா. वागर्ताविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्त प्रतिपत्तये जगदः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। श्रीपार्वती परमेश्वराभ्यां नमः। कोमलं पूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचर गुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन् हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरणभ्यर्थितानपि आर्तान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी ध्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयं। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशीविभूषितकरात् नवनीरधाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलाधरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീറക്കുന്നു നിധജലോചന നിന്നോടായി. ഏതീനു മന്യനെ കുമ്പിടേണ്ടാത്തോരു രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കുന്നായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ
Hare
ജയ
Jaya
കൃഷ്ണ
Krishna,
ഹരേ
Hare
ജയ
Jaya
കൃഷ്ണ
Krishna.
ഹരേ. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the class. Okay. So normally we will do a review of what we learned in the previous class, but because we just did only one stanza last time, I won't do that this time, but normally that's what we would do. Okay, so we'll split today's class into two halves, and then we'll have two students for the first half and two students for the second half. Okay. So Mrinalini, you can be a student, and Deepa, you can be a student. Okay, stanza 2. एवं दुर्लभ्य वस्तुन्यपि सुलभतया हस्तलब्धे यदन्यत् तन्वा वाचा धिया वा भजति बत जनः क्षुद्रतैव स्फुटेयम् एथे तावद्वयं तु स्थिरतरमनसा विश्वपीडापहत्यै निःशेषात्मानमेनं गुरुपवनपुराधीशमेव आश्रयामः. So in the last stanza, we saw how Bhattaripada had started off by describing what the Brahman is and how that is so difficult to contemplate and understand, but eventually understanding of which leads to full liberation. And he said, it is just so unfortunate that, that you don't have, but you don't have to worry about it because that Brahman itself is present in a very understandable form as Guruvayurappan in Guruvayur, who is standing in front of me. That's how he ended the first stanza. Now he goes on saying, this Durlabham, this Vastu, this Brahman, which is so difficult, which is so rare, even though it is made accessible to us as Guru Ayappan, he says it's very unfortunate, like sometimes, we tell our kids, right, that, you guys are so lucky we had to catch all these things to go to school, or your parents must have said, and we said, for you kids, it's so easy. You have calculator at your fingertips, but you guys are wasting your time. You guys don't know how to use it, right? Which is exactly what Bhattacharya is saying. That Brahman, which is so easily accessible, but what do people do with Tanva vacha dhya? Tan is your body. Vacham is your words, and with your mind, instead of focusing and spending time understanding that Brahman as Guru Ayappan, people are wasting their time doing other material things and wasting time on all other material activities. That he says it's just so unfortunate, right, that all of this is happening. But he says, however, he says, those people who have actually done punyam in the past life, because studying anything, even to go and chant, Sri Rama Rama Rameti, you should have done some punyam, right? So he says, people who have committed all those punyams in the past lives, they now, which are the devotees, have this opportunity and they don't let it go to waste. So all of you Friday evening spending 1 hour, right, in doing this, he said that is because of all the past good merits you have actually done. And he says with that you completely dedicate yourself to this Guru Ayappan, who will take care of eradicating all of the other problems you have. Ashrayamaha. Please surrender yourself completely to this Guru Ayappan and don't get distracted with lot of other material things. Okay, so we'll break the first two lines. Evam दुर्लभ्य वस्तुन्यपि, short e, वस्तुन्यपि, comma, सुलभतया हस्त लब्धे यदन्यत्, comma, तन्वा वाचा धिया वा भजति बत जनः, comma, क्षुद्रतैव स्फुटेयम्. So I hope all of you are familiar with that two dots which are called as visarga in Sanskrit. I don't know how it is showing up in your Tamil and Sanskrit on your Telugu books, right? But I will call it a visarga, which is the two dots. And in some places, we will find a way to join them. So I'll tell you what letter to put to join them and where to say. So when I'm saying janaha, that means you have to say that visarga at that point, okay? Evam durlabhya vastunyapि सुलभतया हस्तलब्धे यदन्यत् तन्वा वाचा धिया वा भजति बत जनः क्षुद्रतैव स्फुटेह्यम्.
एवं दुर्लभ्य वस्तुन्यपि सुलभतया हस्तलब्धे यदन्यत् तन्वा वाचा धिया वा भजति बत जनः क्षुद्रतैव स्फुटेयम्. एवं दुर्लभ्य वस्तुन्यपि सुलभतया हस्तलब्धे यदन्यत् तन्वा वाचा धिया वा भजति बत जनः क्षुद्रतैव स्फुटेयम्.
Deepa, go ahead. Deepa, mute little.
एवं दुर्लभ्य वस्तुन्यपि सुलभतया हस्तलब्धे यदन्त तन्वा वाचा धिया वा भजति बत जनः क्षुद्रतैव स्फुटेयम्.
First line, last word, yadanyat.
यदन्यत्. एवं दुर्लभ्य वस्तुन्यपि सुलभतया हस्तलब्धे यदन्यत् तन्वा वाचादिया वा भजति बत जनः शुद्रतैव स्फुटेयम्
एते तावत् वयं तु स्थिरतर मनसा विश्वपीडापहत्यै निःशेषात्मानमेनं, it's one word, निःशेषात्मानमेनं guru pavana puradhishameva. So that word, which you'll have it in Sanskrit, I'll say it, is puradhishamevashrayamaha. You will have it. So we'll just break it for simplicity. So puradhishameva, comma, ashrayamaha. एते तावद्वयं तु स्थिरतरमनसा विश्वपीडापहत्यै निःशेषात्मानमेनं गुरुपवनपुराधीशमेव आश्रयामः.
एते तावद्वयं तु स्थिरतरमनसा विश्वपीडापहत्यै निःशेषात्मानमेनं निःशेषात्मानमेनं गुरुपवनपुराधीशमेव आश्रयामः. एते तावद्वयं तु स्थिरतरमनसा विश्वपीडापहत्यै निःशेषात्मानमेनं गुरुपवनपुराधीशमेव आश्रयामः.
That last line, first word, निःशेषात्मानमेनं.
निःशेषात्मानमेनं गुरुपवनपुराधीशमेव आश्रयामः.
एते तावद्वयं तु स्थिरतरमनसा विश्वपीडापहत्यै निःशेषात्मानमेनं गुरुपवनपुराधीशमेव आश्रयामः. एते तावद्वयं तु स्थिरतरमनसा विश्वपीडापहत्यै निःशेषात्मना आत्मानमेनं गुरुपवनपुराधीशमेव आश्रयामः.
The fourth line, first word is nishesha atmanam enam. Okay, but because we are not stopping there, you cannot break that word that way. So just so that you get the reference, nisheshatmana is nishesha atmanam enam. That atma, that's what is the word coming there.
निःशेषात्मानमेनं
तत्त्वं यत्तत्पराभ्याम् अपरिकलनतो निर्मलं तेन तावत् भूतैर्भूतेन्द्रियैस्ते वपुरिति बहुशः श्रूयते व्यासवाक्यं तत्स्वच्छत्वात् यदच्छादितपरसुखचिद्गर्भनिर्भासरूपं तस्मिन् धन्या रमन्ते श्रुतिमतिमधुरे सुग्रहे विग्रहे ते. And we're going to see some of this, some words I will use now, which if you don't get, that's okay, because we're going to get into details of that before. So there's something called as the Mahat, the supreme consciousness, which is there, which is common to all of us, right? Which is pure sattva guna. It does not have any rajas, which is passion or desire, or tamas, which is ignorance or anger or anything. Everybody has it. But then when the cosmos develops, all these layers get added, right? Ahankaram, individuality, all of this adds eventually to create a person like me or a person like you. So here, and because of that, what happens is we have so many layers separated from the supreme consciousness that we are not able to relate to it. So we'll see some of that later. But anyway, here what he's telling is that that form of yours is pure sattva guna, right? It does not have nirmalam. Malam means dirt. Nirmalam means it's no dirt. So it's not tainted by anything which is negative. It does not have any context of passion or arrogance or anger, nothing in it. It's pure sattva guna which is there. Now, not only is your actual form sattva guna, but he says even the image or the idol of yours is full representation of the sattva guna. And what that really means is we all can easily identify it with a human personality who is there. We can refer. But when you just look at an idol or when you look at the picture, we say, okay, that is not an actual being, right? Because it's a picture, it's a stone. But he says, no, not in this case. He says even the idol form of you as Guru Arpan or any photo of you as Guru Arpan has a full sattva guna. So you falling in love with that photo or falling in love with that idol is as good as falling in love with the actual being or that actual Brahman. There is no difference because it's untainted, right? It's completely pure. So he says that's why, it says, it says it'll be so beautiful. That's why in the 99th chapter, last stanza, he'll say, I'm just in love with this idol form of yours. There's nothing wrong with it because just falling in love with that idol, falling in love with your looks, oh Krishna, is good enough because that is the highest form of devotion. And he says, that's why you are so attractive because you are untainted, which is the takeaway here. Sattvam yattat parabhyam. So that m that you have there, we're going to break it, put a im. So parabhyam, comma. The next word will start with the a. Apari kalanato nirmalam tena tavat, comma. Bhutair bhutendriyaiste vapuriti bahushaha, comma. Shruyate Vyasavakyam. He says Lord Vyasa has said this repeatedly in Srimad Bhagavatam, how your form is completely pure sattva guna. Sattvam yattat parabhyam aparikalanato nirmalam tena tavat bhutair bhutendriyaiste vapuriti bahushah shruyate vyasavakyam.
ராஜேஷ் இந்த கமான்னு சொல்றீல்ல அது should be அங்கதான் பிரேக் எடுக்கணுமா?
அங்கதான் you have to pause, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Sattvam yattat parabhyam aparikalanато nirmalam tena tavat bhutendriyaiste vapuriti bahushaha shruyate vyasavakyam. Sattvam yattat parabhyam aparikalanато nirmalam tena tavat bhutendriyaiste vapuriti bahushaha shruyate vyasavakyam.
सत्वं यत्तत् पराभ्याम् अपरिकलनतो निर्मलं तेन तावत् भूतैर्भूतेन्द्रियैस्ते वपुरिति बहुशः श्रूयते व्यासवाक्यम्. सत्वं यत्तत् पराभ्याम् अपरिकलनतो निर्मलं तेन तावत् भूतैर्भूतेन्द्रियैस्ते वपुरिति बहुशः श्रूयते व्यासवाक्यम्.
Deepa, on the first line, right, that yet tat you don't have to say it, although it's right, but it just doesn't land then, right? So sattvam yet tat parabhyam.
Sattvam yet tat parabhyam.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Tat swachatvat. So there's a dya coming there in Sanskrit. So we just go to break it into a it and a ya and put a comma there. So tat swachatvat it, comma. Next word will start with a ya. Yadachadita para sukha chit garbha nirbhasa rupam, comma. Tasmin dhanya ramante, comma. Shruti mati madhure sugrahe vigrahete. तत्स्वच्छत्वात् यदच्छादितपरसुखचिद्गर्भनिर्भासरूपं तस्मिन् धन्या रमन्ते श्रुतिमतिमधुरे सुग्रहे विग्रहे ते.
Do you mind doing one more time?
तत्स्वच्छत्वात् यदच्छादितपरसुखचिद्गर्भनिर्भासरूपं तस्मिन् धन्या रमन्ते श्रुतिमतिमधुरे सुग्रहे विग्रहे ते.
तत्स्वच्छात्वात् यदच्छादितपरसुखचिद्गर्भनिर्भासरूपं तस्मिन् धन्या रमन्ते श्रुतिमतिमधुरे सुग्रहे विग्रहे ते. तत्स्वच्छात्वात् यदच्छादितपरसुखचिद्गर्भनिर्भासरूपं तस्मिन् धन्या रमन्ते श्रुतिमतिमधुरे सुग्रहे विग्रहे ते. I think I need more practice for the first one.
You just get a general thing going, then you have to practice here.
तत्स्वच्छत्वात् यदच्छादितपरसुखचिद्गर्भनिर्भासरूपं तस्मिन् धन्या रमन्ते श्रुतिमतिमधुरे सुग्रहे विग्रहे ते. तत्स्वच्छत्वात् यदच्छादितपरसुखचिद्गर्भनिर्भासरूपं तस्मिन् धन्या रमन्ते श्रुतिमतिमधुरे सुग्रहे विग्रहे ते.
That's a four. निष्कम्पे नित्यपूर्णे निरवधि परमानन्द पीयूष रूपे निर्लीनानेकमुक्ता बलिसुभगतमे निर्मल ब्रह्म सिन्धौ कल्लोल्लोल्लासतुल्यं खलु विमलतरं सत्त्वमाहुस्तथात्मा कस्मान्नो निष्कलस्त्वं सकल इति वचः त्वत्कलास्वेव भूमन्. So here is kind of comparing that Brahman to, because like he says, Brahman is same as Guru Ayappan, Bhattacharya doesn't differentiate, but he's comparing this Brahman to an ocean, just to say that how the attributes of an ocean apply to the attributes of Brahman. He says one is the ocean is changeless. You always go and look at Atlantic Ocean, it always looks the same. So no matter how it is, it just looks, because water is colorless, right? It looks the same. Similarly, Brahman doesn't have any shape, doesn't have any form. It just takes different incarnations which take different shape and different form. So that is number one. So it's changeless. It remains the same. Number two, it is ever full, right? So we say, Purnamadav Purnamidam for Agni. We say you take some Agni out of your Agni, that source Agni doesn't go down. It still remains the same, except that the next one also gets the Agni. Similarly, ocean, you take a bucket of water out of the ocean is not going to get empty. Similarly, it says here, you also are always full. Just because somebody else is going and praying a lot to Guru Ayappan doesn't mean his time that he spends with you is going to go down, right? He's always full of the same energy. The Brahman doesn't diminish in terms of energy, number two. And number three, it talks about how it is, in terms of the level of bliss also it remains the same, right? So anytime you're happy because you get something, if I take that thing away from you, you become unhappy. That is the simplest definition of unhappy, is taking away what makes you happy, right? He says, but with Brahman, it is not like that. The level of happiness, the level of bliss always remains consistent. You're not going to get bored of eating the same food again and again. That is not going to happen with this Brahman. And it says for this Brahman, just like how there are pearls at the bottom of the ocean, the pearls for the Brahman are all the devotees who are constantly praying to your Guru Ayappa. They are your pearls. So with that, he's just comparing the ocean to this Brahman here and saying that the reason you Guruvarappa is that Brahman's full of bliss is because all the avatarams, so in Bhagavatam it says, Avatara hi asankhyayaha. There are no limit to the number of avatars. We just say 10 because that's all we can only count 10 in our hands. Infinite number of avatars. But all of those avatarams are what are called as partial avatarams or Leela avatarams or Anga avatarams, different definitions. But there's only one Purna avataram, which is Krishna avataram, because of which it says Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. There is no doubt. It's a full incarnation. So when the full Brahman is incarnating full as Krishna, the bliss is always going to be full when it comes to Krishna, which is what he says. You're always full and always, it'll give you happiness all the time. निष्कंपे नित्य पूर्णे कॉमा निरवधि परमानंद पीयूष रूपे कॉमा निर्लीनानेक मुक्तावली सुभगतमे कॉमा निर्मल ब्रह्म सिंधौ. So most of these places you can clearly break the words. So when I'm breaking those words, mark it and keep, because some places we cannot break the words. निष्कंपे नित्यपूर्णे निरवधि परमानंद पीयूष रूपे निर्लीनानेक मुक्तावली सुभगतमे निर्मल ब्रह्म सिंधौ.
निष्कंपे नित्यपूर्णे निरवधि परमानंद पीयूष रूपे निर्लीनानेक मुक्तावली शुभगतमे निर्मल ब्रह्म सिंधौ. निष्कंपे नित्यपूर्णे निरवधि परमानंद पीयूष रूपे निर्लीनानेक मुक्तावली शुभगतमे निर्मल ब्रह्म सिंधौ.
निष्कंपे नित्यपूर्णे निरवधि परमानंद पीयूष रूपे निर्लीनानेकमुक्तावधि सुभगतमे निर्मल ब्रह्म सिंधौ. निष्कंपे नित्यपूर्णे निरवधि परमानंद पीयूष रूपे निर्लीनानेकमुक्तावली सुभगतमे निर्मल ब्रह्म सिंधौ.
Kallololasa. That's kallola ullasa, but you cannot separate it that way. So kallololasa tulyam khalu vimalataram, comma sattvam ahus tadatma, comma kasmanno nishkalastvam sakala iti vachaha. So that is that is there. We're going to remove it. We're going to put a visarga. So vachaha, comma tvat kalasveva bhuman. Kalho lolasatulyam khalu vimalataram satvamahustadhatma kasmanno nishkalastvam sakala iti vachaha tvat kalasveva bhuman.
कल्लोलोलसत्तुल्यं खलु विमलतरम्. I'll do it again. कल्लोलोलासतुल्यं खलु विमलतरं सत्त्वमाहुस्तदात्मा कस्मान्नो निष्कलस्त्वं सकल इति वचः त्वत्कलास्वेव भूमन्. कल्लोलोलसतुल्यं खलु विमलतरं सत्त्वमाहुस्तदात्मा कस्मान्नो निष्कलस्त्वं सकल इति वचः त्वत्कलास्वेव भूमन्.
कल्लोलोलासतुल्यं खलु विमलतरं सत्त्वमाहुस्तदात्मा कस्मान्नो निष्कलस्त्वं सकल इति वचः त्वत्कलास्वेव भूमन्. कल्लोलोलासतुल्यं खलु विमलतरं सत्त्वमाहुस्तदात्मा कस्मानो निष्कलस्वं सकल इति वचः त्वत् त्वत्कल्लास्वे त्वत्कल्लास्वेव भूमन्.
Yeah, Twat is one word. Twat kalasveva bhuman. That's fine. निर्व्यापारोऽपि निष्कारणमज भजसे यत्क्रियाम् ईक्षणाख्याम् तेनैवोधीति लीना प्रकृतिरसति कल्पापि कल्पादिकाले तस्या संशुद्धमंशम् कमपि तमतिरोधायकम् सत्त्वरूपम् सत्त्वम् धृत्वा दधासि स्वमहिम विभवा कुण्ठवैकुण्ठरूपम्. In continuing about the description, a little bit of the Brahman only here, talking about the greatness of it. See, Aja here, Nishkaranam, Aja Bhajase. Aja means one who does not have any birth or death, right? Because the Brahman is always existing, right? And the difference between us humans and the Brahman is we all are bound by some karma, we all are bound by some activities. And the reason we do those activities is because we have some desire. If you had no desire at all, you actually wouldn't be doing anything. We all do things because we have some desire. It says this Brahman is number one, it does not have any desire to do anything. It is also not bound by any activities or bound by any karma. It is only a witness to everything that is happening. So later on, in Kapilopakyanam, in Dasakam 14 and 15, we'll see little bit more details of this, of what this Brahman is, what this Purusha is, and Prakriti is. But here he's just talking about it very briefly, but we'll go to the details of it in Dasakam 15. So it says, just like how you bring a magnet next to a nail, it automatically attracts. But even though the magnet may not have a desire to attract, right? It just triggers that attraction. Similarly, he says, you, when the appropriate time comes, you then trigger the process of creation and then you eventually take everything in. We'll see all of that later, but that's what it's talking about here. Saying that, it all comes from you and eventually it all goes back into you. Nirvyaparopi nishkaranam aja bhajase, comma, yat kriyam ikshanakyam. You can break it that me if you want. Yat kriyam ikshanakyam, comma, tenaivodeti lina, comma, prakriti rasati kalpapi kalpadi kale. So this kalpa, prakriti, all of those have a lot of meanings behind it, which I won't get into right now. We'll see that later as the meanings come. Nirvyaparopi nishkaranamaja bhajase yatkriyameekshanakyam tenaivodeti lina prakriti rasati kalpapi kalpadi kale.
निर्व्यापारोऽपि निष्कारणमज भजसे यत् किया.
Yat kriyam.
Oh, there is a kri. Okay. Yat kriyamikshanakyam tenaivodeti lina prakrutirasati kalpapi kalpadi kale. निर्व्यापारोऽपि निष्कारणमज भजसे यत्क्रियामीक्षणाख्याम् तेनैवोदेति लीना प्रकृतिरसति कल्पापि कल्पादिकाले.
निर्व्यापारोऽपि निष्कारणमज भजसे यत्क्रियामीक्षणाख्याम् तेनैवोदेति लीना प्रकृति रसति कल्पापि कल्पादिकाले. निर्व्यापारोऽपि निष्कारणमज भजसे यत्क्रियामीक्षणाख्याम् तेनैवोदेति लीना प्रकृतिरसति कल्पापि कल्पादिकाले.
Let's just switch halfway. Vidya, Medal, you can be a student, and Lakshmi, you can be a student. Tasyaha is there. You put a is to join. Tasyas samshuddham amsham, comma, kamapi thamati rodhayakam. That's one word. Thamati rodhayakam sattva roopam, comma, sa tvam dhritva dadhasi, comma, swamahima vibhavakuntha vaikuntha roopam. The Vaikuntha Rupam is that form of you which is in Vaikuntha. So that form of you is full of this. Tasya samshuddhamamsham kamapi tamati rodhayakam sattva rupam sattvam dhritva dadhasi swamahima vibhava kuntha vaikuntha rupam.
तस्या संशुद्धमंशं कमपि तमतिरोधायकं तत्त्वरूपं सत्त्वं धृत्वा दधासि स्वमहिमविभवाकुण्ठवैकुण्ठरूपम् तस्या संशुद्धमंशं कमपि तमतिरोधायकं सत्त्वरूपं सत्त्वं धृत्वा दधासि स्वमहिमविभवाकुण्ठवैकुण्ठरूपम्
तस्या संशुद्धमंशं कमपि तमतिरोधायकं सत्त्वरूपं सत्त्वं धृत्वा ददासि स्वमहिम विभवाकुण्ठवैकुण्ठरूपम्.
Lakshmi, the third line, the comma after samshuddhamamsham, and then the comma. You paused after kamapi.
Oh, samashuddhamamshama. Sorry. Okay.
Samshuddhamamsham.
Samshuddhamamsham. Okay. Okay. Tasya samshuddhamamsham kamapi tamatirodayakam sattvarupam sattvam dhritva dadasi swamahima vibhavakuntha vaikuntharupam.
Again, third line, tasya samshuddhamamsham, comma.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Stanza 6. Tatte pratyagradhara dharalalita kala yavali kelikaram lavanyasyaikasaram sukruti janadrisham purna punyavataram Lakshmi nishankalila nilayanam amritasyanda sandohamantaha Sinchat sanchintakanam vapuranukalaye maruta garanatha. Saying, I'm meditating on that form of yours. And then he describes the form. And the beauty of Krishnavataram in all of this is there is no rules and restrictions of how you have to worship Krishna. There's absolutely no rule and restrictions. Like we've seen so many great devotees like Andal, others who wanted to marry Krishna. Absolutely, you can wish to marry Krishna. You could wish to want to love Krishna. You could wish to have Krishna as your son. You could wish to have Krishna as your friend. There's absolutely no rules and regulations. So here he says that form of yours, Krishna, is so beautiful that I'm actually falling in love with that form which I want to meditate on. And that form, there's an entire second Dasakam devoted to how the form itself. But anyway, here he describes this form is that of Kalayavali. Kalaya is referring to the blue lily or the blue lotus. So it says the best color is not, Krishna is not the blue color that we see as in the pictures. But when you are driving and you see this dark gray clouds outside, when it is about to rain, that is the color. So it's like a grayish blue color is the actual color. So he says that lily flower has that color. So your color is that of the rain-bearing clouds. The clouds when it's about to rain, because just like how when it rains, it soothes everything down, the heat. Looking at your form soothes my mind also, because that is how beautiful your form is. And it says that form of yours, like we said earlier, it's accessible only to people who have done good deeds. And if you take the collective punyam that everybody has done, which is all the good things, and you give all of that punyam a form, he says that is your form. So no wonder it is going to be so beautiful. Just looking at it makes me, wanting to fall in love. So let me meditate on that form of yours, which is which gives everybody that state of bliss all the time. And where Lakshmi Nishankalila, so of course where Lakshmi Devi resides in your chest, right? Because that form of yours is so good. So Tatte Pratyagra Dhara Dhara Lalita Kalayavali Kelikaram. So that whole line is together, comma at the very end. Lavan Yasyaika Saram, comma, Sukriti Janadrisham, comma, Purna Punyavataram. It's like the incarnation of all the punyams of all the devotees who have been worshipping you. Tatte Pratyagradhara Dhara Lalita Kala Yavali Kelikaram Lavanyasyaika Saram Sukriti Janadrisham Purna Punyavataram.
Tatte Pratyagradhara Lalita Kala Yavali Kelikaram Lavanyasyaikasaram. Lavanyasyaikasaram. Say, right?
I think you're saying a little bit there. You're saying yaika a little bit. Lavanyasyaikasaram.
Lavanyasyaikasaram. Sukriti Janadrisham Purna Punyavataram. Tatte Pratyagradhara Dhara Lalita Kala Yavali Kelikaram Lavanyasyaikasaram Sukriti Janadrisham Punyavataram.
Purna Punyavataram.
Purna Punyavataram.
Tatte Pratyakra Dharadhara Lalita Kalayavali Kelikaram Lavanyasyaika Saram Sukriti Janadrisham Purna Punyavataram. Tatte Pratyakra Dharadhara Lalita Kalayavali Kelikaram Lavanyasyaika Saram Sukriti Janadrisham Purna Punyavataram.
Lakshmi, in the first line, that Yavali, just slight change. You may want to extend that E a little bit. It's a long E there. So Kala Yavali Kelikaram. First line.
Lalita Kalayavali Kelikaram.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lakshmi Nishanka Leela Nilayanam Amrita. You can break at that ma if you want. Nilayanam Amrita Syanda Sandoha Mantaha. Again, that line is continuous, no pause in between. Sinchat Sanchintakanam, in sound. Sanchintakanam, comma. Vapuranu Kalaye Maruta Garanatha. So Maruta Garanatha referring to Guru Arpa. Anytime the word wind or Guru or any of that comes together, it is referring to Guru Arpa here. Lakshmi Nishanka Leela Nilayanam Amrita Syanda Sandohamantaha Sinchat Sanchintakanam Vapuranu Kalaye Maruta Garanatha.
Lakshmi Nishankalila Nilayanamamrita Syanda Sandohamantaha Sinchat Sanchintakanam Vapuranu Kalaye Marutagaranatha. Lakshmi Nishankalila Nilayanamamrita Syanda Sandohamantaha Sinchan Sanchintakanam Vapuranu Kalaye Marutagaranatha.
That last line, the comma is after Sanchintakanam, then comma.
Sinchat Sanchintakanam वपुरनुकलये मारुतागारनाथ
लक्ष्मी निःशङ्कलीला निलयनम् अमृतस्यन्द सन्दोहमन्तः सिञ्चत् सञ्चितकानां वपुरनुकलये मारुताकारनाथ
Fourth line, second word. San chintakanam.
सिञ्चत् सञ्चिन्तकानां
Correct.
लक्ष्मी निःशङ्कलीला निलयनममृतस्यन्द सन्दोहमन्तः सिञ्चत् सञ्चितकानां वपुरनुकलये मारुताकारनाथ.
Again, on the word, you're missing that in when you're saying it. You're saying san chitakanam. You're saying
Oh, sorry.
san chintakanam.
सञ्चिन्तकानां.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is the first line, the Sandoha Manta or Mantaha, is there a Visarga after that?
At the end there.
Okay.
Sandoham antaha. It's sandoham antaha, but anyway, there's a visarga at the end there.
Okay, it's not there in the book, that's why I
Okay,
asked.
just add it then. Just add it. So some of these things, some of the books may not have certain things, or in sometimes your book may have a different word. So for consistency, we'll follow what my book is because that's how everybody is. So that's okay. Just some words may be different also. Stanza 7. Kashtate srishti cheshta bahutara bhavakhedaavah jiva bhajam ityevam purvamalochitamajitmaya naiva madhyabhijane noche jivah katham va madhurataramidam twadvapuschhidrasardram netrai shrotraischa pitva paramarasa sudham bodhipure rameran. So Bhattaripad is a very beautiful stanza. He says, I always used to wonder that why did you go through this process of creation? Because it is just so painful. You know, from the time somebody is born, you are a baby, you cannot tell what you want, you are in diaper, and then, you know, grow up, you have your problems going to school, and then you grow big, you have more problems. So life is full of problems, right? And we wish we were either younger or wish we were older, right? We always are full of problems. He says, why did you even do this creation if it is going to be so much full of problems? Then he says, I understood the reason why. Because if not for creating me as a human, how would I be able to netraihi through my eyes, shrotraihi through my ears, through my eyes and my ears, how will I be able to enjoy the nectar of your beauty and the nectar of all the things about you? Right? So when we start talking Krishna Avatar and Mother, it's just so beautiful that you don't want to stop talking about it, right? So for us to be able to talk about it, for somebody to be able to hear about it, looking at the beautiful face of Krishna, he says, how will that be possible unless I take a human birth? So he says, now I understood why I took that human birth. It's only because we've been running after the wrong things that, you know, we are having all these pain and all these issues of why did I take birth. So he says, with that, you know, so this something is there's nothing that can be compared to this, the bliss that comes from enjoying you. So now I understand the true reason. So kashtate srishti cheshta, comma, bahutara bhava khedavaha Jiva bhajam. So put a im at the end of that line and comma. Jiva bhajam, comma. If your next line has mityevam, that ma will go from that, becomes a ityevam. Purvam alochitam ajita. If you want to break that. So when I say if you want to break that, that is because if you are not able to say the full word as Purvam alochitam ajita, you can say Purvam alochitam ajita maya, comma, naiva madhyabhijane. Kashtate srishti cheshta bahutara bhavakhedaavaha jiva bhajam ityevam purvam alochitam ajita maya naiva madhyabhijane.
कष्टाते सृष्टिचेष्टा बहुतर भवखेदवः जीवभाजाम् इत्येवं पूर्वमालोचितमजितमया नैवमद्याभिजाने.
Vidya, that first line, ke davaha, a sound there, okay?
कष्टाते सृष्टिचेष्टा बहुतर भवा खेदावः बहुतर भवा खेदावः जीवभाजाम् इत्येवं पूर्वमालोचितमजितमया नैवमद्याभिजाने.
कष्टादे सृष्टिश्रेष्ठा बहुधर भवखेदावः वः जीवभाजाम् इत्येवं पूर्वमालोचितमजितमया नैवमद्याभिजाने. कष्टादे सृष्टिश्रेष्ठा बहुधर भवखेदावः जीवभाजाम् इत्येवं पूर्वमालोचितमजितमया नैवमद्याभिजाने.
First line, after Srishti Cheshta, there is a comma, okay? Second time, you
Okay.
didn't stop there, but yeah,
सृष्टिश्रेष्ठा.
comma, yeah. The only reason
Rajesh,
is we just want to make sure you're stopping at the right place, right? Because otherwise, a lot of people just say the whole stanza completely, right? When they become expert. But the thing is, if you're not able to, then we don't want you stopping at the wrong place and then twist it. So that's why for consistency. Yeah, sorry, somebody had a question.
Yeah, so Rajesh, quick question.
Uh.
In the first line, after bahutara, bhavake or bhavake?
Bhavake.
Bhavake. Okay, thank you.
I have one more question. In the last word, Naiva Madhya Bhijate, the Madhya, the
Ne.
Dhya is a Mahaprana or light?
Yeah, it's a Mahaprana. Naiva Madhya Bhijane. Ne at the end.
No, the
The Bha is a
Madhya.
Mahaprana. Yeah.
No, Madhya.
Naiva
Mad-
Madhya Bhijane Dhya.
Dhya, it's not Mahaprana, right?
No, it is Dhya is generally It and Ya combined together only. So that doesn't have a separation there. It's just Dhya.
Thank you.
Okay. No che jivaha. You might have a visarga there. Put a h to join ich because ka is coming later. So it will take the ich sound there. So no che jivah katham va, comma, madhura taramidam tvad vapush chidra sardram, comma, netraihi. Is there put a ish to join? Netraish श्रोत्रैश्च पीत्वा, कॉमा, परम रस सुधाम्भोधिपूरे रमेरन्. नोचे जीवाः कथं वा मधुरतरमिदं त्वद्वपुश्चिद्रसार्द्रं नेत्रैः श्रोत्रैश्च पीत्वा परमरससुधाम्भोधिपूरे रमेरन्.
नो चे जीवाः कथं वा मधुरतरमिदं तद्वपुश्चिद्रसार्द्रम् नेत्रैः श्रोत्रैश्च पीत्वा परमरससुधाम्बोधिपूरे रमेरन्. नो चे जीवाः कथं वा मधुरतरमिदं तद्वपुश्चिद्रसार्द्रम् नेत्रैः श्रोत्रैश्च पीत्वा परमरससुधाम्बोधिपूरे रमेरन्.
Third line, last word, twadvapush. You said tadvapush, twadvapush.
Twadvapush.
Yeah.
Twadvapushchidrasardram. Okay.
नो चेत् जीवाः कथं वा मधुरतरमिदं त्वत्वपुश्चिद्रसार्द्रं नेत्रैः श्रोत्रैश्च पीत्वा परमरससुधाम्बोधिपूरे रमेरन्.
Lakshmi, and the two visargas which came in the third and fourth, remember, we added that sound, joining sound. So, no che jivah.
Jivah.
Yeah, H.
Correct.
Yeah, H.
Okay.
And then the fourth
Okay.
line, netraish.
नेत्रैः श्रोत्रैश्च पीत्वा
Correct. Yeah.
नो चेज्जीवः कथं वा मधुरतरमितं त्वत्वपुश्चित्रास्त्रं नेत्रैः
No,
श्रोत्रैश्च पीत्वा
no, and the word again. Netraish, Shrotraishcha Pitva.
नेत्रैश्च पीत्वा परमरससुधाम्बोधिपूररमेरन्
And the Visarga,
पूरेरमे
and the play where the Visarga is, you literally write that letter instead of the Visarga. So it becomes
नेत्रैश्
Netraish, SH. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Just we do one more maybe and stop. नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरणभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी ध्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजो ह्यम्. This should sound little familiar. This was in our Dhyana slokam. So, in this case, Bhattipat says that, if you go to in the Indra's world, there's something called as a Kalpa Vriksha, which is like a wish shielding tree. You can go ask what you want and you get what it is. He says, but you are not, the problem with the Kalpa Vriksha is, first of all, it is not accessible to us because we are not in Swarga Lokam where Indra is there. So we don't have access to it. And second, the Kalpa Vriksha only gives things which are good for your senses. You can ask anything which makes you happy to your senses. But he says, you, Krishna, are not like the Kalpa Vriksha. You are beyond the Kalpa Vriksha. You are like the Parijata tree. One, because everybody has access to it. There's no rule or any constraint around who has access to Krishna. Everybody has access to Krishna, number one. Two, you always give your devotees more than what they ask for. And number three, you give the highest of the Purushartham, which is liberation, which the Kalpa Vriksha tree cannot give. So when you can give everything more and you can give liberation and you're easily accessible, he says, why are people running after something like Kalpa Vriksha, which is so limited, which is not accessible? They should be running after you, right? So that is the takeaway from this. So we'll maybe do only 2 lines today and then we'll stop. Namranam sannidhatte, comma, sathatamapi Purastair, you can break at that ra because otherwise you'll find it hard to say it. Purastair anabhyarti. You can start, that becomes a then. Purastair anabhyartitanapi. So put a pi, p at the end of that line, comma. The next line, the pya that you have becomes a. So arthan kamana jasram vitarati, comma. Paramananda Sandram Gatim cha. Nambranham sannidhatte satatamapi purastairanaabhyartitanapi arthan kamanajasram vitarati Paramananda Sandram Gatim cha.
नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरनभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरनभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रं गतिं च
नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरनभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं विदरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरनभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च.
Parabrahmane Namaha. End the class today. Typically, with an hour and a half class, we do about 1.5 dashakams, and small dashakams we do about 2. But because right now it's 1 hour, it will be less. And we always end it, and I will chant the first dashakam, first stanza, Sandrananda. I will chant that at the end of every class. Okay. सान्ध्यानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमितं कालदेशावरेभ्यां निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानां कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. Thank you, everyone. Just a quick announcement for those of you who are in the northwest suburbs. We have this Tamil New Year Vishu function at the Grace Lake Temple this Sunday, and we're going to be chanting 1 hour Narayaneeyam and 1 hour Srimad Bhagavatam. So whoever wants to join, you can join. I'll send the flyer out in the group. Okay. And this
So
one
what date is Vishu, Rajesh? What date?
Vishu Bandhu is coming only on Monday. Tamil New Year is coming on Sunday.
Oh, Monday, Vishu. Okay. I'm currently in India, so planning to visit Guruvayur. So I'm just trying to see because they closed on Vishu.
It's going to be
Yeah,
like.
but Vishu Modhu, I don't think they close. They don't have that some
Yeah,
specific Anna Bishop.
they don't close, but
It'll be
it's going to
crowded.
be like
No, I'm not
unbelievable
going
crowd.
during Vishu, like maybe the next week.
Yeah, okay. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Happy
Okay.
Vishu.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.